What do you want from your city? We are not living in a Lego land. People have got tired. Centers of the cities are suffering. The last 10-15 years have seen dramatic change in the idea of the cities. You know, there is one thing that we know about the future, which is that we can change our ideas. But we also can change our cities if we really want and if we put a lot of effort in that. And I'm going to talk about that. Turku. This is a city that is an average city where people are living all around the world. This is a mid-sized city. This is a 200,000 roughly. This is a kind of a city when people can relate to in all parts of the world. It's not a huge metropolis, but it's not just a small villages, because majority of the people are living somewhere in between. So very likable, very kind of a attachable, kind of a knowable city. This is what Turku is. Of course, all the cities have their own particularities, they have the uniqueness, they have their particular history, like that's this city, but also a lot of similarities with cities all around the world, in all continents where we have cities. But this is Turku. And hear me out. Now, the question is, what are the things that people want from the city in our days and in the future? What are the types of qualities? What are the types of possibilities? What is the type of the feel of the city? That are the types of the questions. They're kind of a qualitative questions asking that how much there is a beauty, how much there is a harmony, in addition to the old things, which is that how functional it is, what type of the services it can provide. All those things combined makes the whole idea of the city very different. Now, when we look at the cities and the city centers around the world, I would say the last 10-15 years have seen dramatic change in the idea of the cities throughout the world. And that is because people have got tired of the type of the cities that have been built mostly just for commercial purposes, from people to getting from A to B, having kind of a physical infrastructure around it, which doesn't necessarily resonate with the human touch, with the human feel. So we started to work with this city, which has a lot of amenities. It's this beautiful bridge. It's the old churches. It's the nice looking old buildings that we have a lot in this city. So how can we build on that something that is much more attractive, much more interactive, much more kind of inviting? That was the challenge. And so we started to redesign by saying to ourselves that, well, let's ask first of all from the people of the city what type of the cities they want, because we are the group of experts, but we don't necessarily know that. So we did a lot of interactive workshops. Actually, on the building that is over there, this reddish building, we asked them these questions. What do you want from your city? What is the type of the city would you like? And the answer was that, yes, more interactive, more green, more open to different functions, like exercise, like just having a social gatherings, more cafes, more green. That sort of gave us the direction. Okay, we have a mandate now, and let's redesign. So then we brought also in some of the ideas of the architecture of tomorrow, which is that not everything has to look rectangular like boxes. We are not living in a Lego land. We are living in a land of people and nature and living things. So also the building should reflect that idea of the organic. We sort of reimagine how this city should look like in the future. Having different kind of amenities, for instance, around this river, to be, for instance, able to step down to the river where there is a pool and you can actually have a nice swim there, and there nearby that there is a cafe and so forth and so forth. So build the idea of possibilities where people can kind of extend their living rooms from their homes into the streets, into the parks, into the area of the city. After our work, we went to present our case to the city council and the city board, to everybody that was interested here to know about our ideas. And we sort of challenged them, not saying that no, this is not good enough, but challenged them by presenting something alternative, presenting something of the different kind of the future for the city. So how the city should look like, and making it concrete as possible by visualizing that, because visualization and seeing things in visual has always the major impact. We did that, and the response was, wow, can this be the future of our city? It was an overwhelming majority who was saying that, yes, we want this type of a city. We want to have these beautiful buildings. We want to have these spaces where we can meet, and we want to have this more lively center, because everywhere in the world, centers of the cities are suffering, the commerce is suffering, the people are going way to the suburbs, living there, going to the shopping malls there instead of coming to the center. So the city centers are usually suffering these days unless you really do something substantial. We knew that that's the kind of a challenge. So to meet that challenge, you need to start thinking that, how do you overcome those challenges? How do you make it possible that there is something particular, something really, really interesting in the city center that attracts people? And how you make that easy and accessible, how you make people possible to come very easily to the city center, leave their car somewhere if they are coming with a car, preferably with trams or other public transport. Well, some of it has happened, but we made our vision towards the 2050. So we still have almost 30 years to go to that vision. But they have started the work here. And once you present this kind of alternative future for the people in this city, for instance, they start to think differently about the possibilities of the cities. Openness to alternatives is crucially important, but this openness can only come when you actually see alternatives, when you can imagine the alternatives. And as I said, cities all around the world, as they are, many of them are increasing in terms of their size, their population, and their kind of physical and mental infrastructures are changing. Cities need to adapt to these new times and just kind of push away the old idea of the city and welcome in the very new, more comprehensive, holistic type of the city. So today, if you go into the cities like Copenhagen, Stockholm, Helsinki, Sydney, you name it, you can see that, well, the city centers that they used to be 20 years ago have already changed quite dramatically. Cars have been pushed away, more pedestrian alleys, more possibilities for light vehicles, city scooters, generally more space for people to roam around. And this movement is, I believe, just the beginning. Because as I said, there has been already a long time where the city centers were mostly devoted for these rather commercial and rather narrow purposes with no human scale. But the scale was a commercial scale. The scale was a kind of old idea of the efficiency. And now when we are moving to the different times, The cities that adopt the new ideas, adopt the new policies, and make it more like extended living rooms are the cities that are going to be the winners. So subscribe to my channel, see the related videos, share with your friends, and post your comment. What is the type of the city that you want to see in the future?